music stand, guys? Where was the music stand? Up here. Where was the music stand? That big music stand. Stop, stop, stop. Where was the big music stand? Okay, go on that side. You stand over here. Right here. Come over back up. Hey, stop. Get up. Follow. Please take this down for you. Here you go. Right there. Stop right there. Stand this way, guys.
You want to squeeze in here?
Yes, I tried. I think like 5:30 we were speaking.
When I pulled out of the parking lot and saw your car was still there, I was like, oh, maybe he's not home. Andito kami sa
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever has the cello straps back, bring it to the center where the cellos are, please. Okay. This whole line moved down that way. All you guys move down. Stand in front of the cello. There we go. Great. Okay. Right. Well, if you can see in the middle, over here in the middle of the sea of people here, my name is Mr. Taylor. I teach all 307 of these students. And we did the math. That means we tuned 1,228 strings from 5:15 to 6. Give them a hand. I want to be clear
I did not tune that many. I had a lot of helpers. So if you're from Oak or the high school and you're on the side, can you give us a wave somewhere if you were helpers? Thank you. They came back to help us and we really appreciate that very much. We've worked very hard, and one of the things that I love about music is it teaches all of us a lot of things. And it teaches our beginners how to perform. And someday when they have to have a job interview, they'll know how to perform. And they'll be able to do that. But guess what? Audience, you have a job too. And that is to be a real deal audience. Now this is what I mean. By the way, for years I said this. Why is everybody coming down, taking pictures? Stay where you're at and all this. And then I was a dad. And I found myself crawling through parents on my hands and knees, popping up to take a picture. And as soon as I took the picture, I went, oh no, I just did it. So I get it. But in a real concert, the audience is in their place and the performers are in their place. We have Mr. Jerry Jambazian right here. Take away, Mr. Jerry. He's been walking around the room taking pictures. He has a video of everything so that you can see that. That'll be at templecityphotos.com. But what's really important, I think, is to take that phone, and I don't even have one on me, isn't that? Oh, that's so great. No one can get a hold of me. My wife's here, so that's good. If you're taking video, please be mindful of the people behind you. They want to see their student too. And just enjoy some music that they've worked really hard on. Okay, that's your job as an audience now that we're older and wiser, and we're going to listen to this wonderful beginning orchestra. I want them to play something in the room first. The very first thing we learned how to do is called the Mississippi Stop D major scale. Beginning orchestra, I'm throwing you a curveball. We didn't say we were going to perform that, but we're just going to warm up on our D major scale, Mississippi Stop, okay? Here we go. Sorry, that's not it. Hold on. Scale. The next thing we're going to play for you is using that bowing. We're going to use the bowing Mississippi Stop and start playing one song that we learned. It's called Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Then when we're done with that variation, we'll play the real deal Twinkle Little Star. So here we go. thing that we perform for you is called the French folk song. Now that we've learned that, next thing we learned is all 8 notes. And so this song now uses 8 notes, and it's a little bit different on how we play it. So it's a little bit harder. Here's the next song, French folk song. And I'm sorry, cello, sit down. Then we also do a lift back to the what we call the frog. Can I hold your bow? So this is called the bow, and believe it or not, this thing's called the frog. I don't know why they call it the frog. So we have to lift our bow back to what we call the frog of the bow, and that's kind of a hard thing to do too. Here we go. All right. Whew. Now, our last final song, Chelsea, go ahead and stand up. I did it again. We're going to play a song called Song of the Wind. Now, this goes faster. And the other thing that's hard on a string instrument is what we call string crossings. It's when you play a note on this string and then you have to change your bow and go on a note on another string and then change back. It's called string crossings. Very difficult. So it's our hardest song to learn. Here's Song of the Wind. I guess you want to hear us play one more, so you might recognize this one. All right, now beginning orchestra is going to turn into the audience. So they're going to turn around, and the cellos are going to turn their chairs around. And then you get to sit down. Beginning, you did it, you're done. Now take a deep breath. Okay, now that they're sitting down, I want to recognize some people in the audience as well. We would not be able to have 300 some odd musicians playing in the elementary schools if we didn't have tremendous staff, board, principals, everybody helping us. It really does take a village to get all of this to happen. So if you're any one of those, a principal, a superintendent, a board member, a staff member, could you stand up and be recognized, please? Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you. All right, the next, I gotta stay over here. The next piece that I'm gonna use, the next group to perform is the Intermediate Orchestra, and they've been working really hard. They learned a new scale. These guys, you heard them play in the key of D. They learned a G major scale. They're going to demonstrate that for you right now. Here's our G major scale. We played everything what they call by rote in the beginning. In intermediate orchestra, the name of the game is to start reading those little dots on the page and see how well we can do that. So that's what we started doing, but we also started learning how to use our bow differently. So we started something called staccato, which are short bows, slurs, and hooks. So we're going to demonstrate that really quick for you now. Here's our D major staccato. Now we're really going to learn what we call our A ladder notes. At the end of this year beginning, you're going to learn how to read your D, E, and F sharp. You're going to start reading notes. Okay, so they already came into it kind of knowing that. Now we're going to learn our A string notes, and we use a song called Jersey Shuffle for that. golden ticket because my predecessor really liked Willy Wonka. And so this is the golden ticket, and it has all this music on it. And when they can show that they have mastery on all this, they get to move to that orchestra. So that's why we work on this all year, to be able to do all these things and learn all these different bowings, and all this kind of represents all those things. Here's your golden ticket back. Don't eat it. All right. Now, after we did that, now we say, okay, we know all our D major notes. Let's mix them all up and try to make sure we really know them. So we play what we call our arpeggios and our thirds. Here's our D major, arpeggios and thirds. We've said, okay, we know all the notes. Now we're going to start using those new bowings with our music. So we're going to play a song called London Bridge. London Bridge is falling down, but we call it Fancy London Bridge because we're going to use our staccatos and our slurs with it. Here's London Bridge. After that, we're starting to do two songs that are like from real deal music. And so it's not just from our book anymore. The next piece we're going to play for you is called Can Can. Now we've heard the Can Can before, but I want you to know it's originally from an opera. And so this melody is tucked away in a long opera that someone heard and said, this is really great, we're going to perform this. And it's really good for us because it uses our long bows, and it uses the slurs, and it uses our popped bow. So here's Can Can. And then the last piece we're going to play is actually was considered to be the national anthem way back in the latter 17 and early 1800s. And then, of course, we have the national anthem that we have now. This is a song called Chester. This involves slurs. It involves changing notes. It involves back and forth bowing. It involves hooks. It's crazy. It's got all this stuff in it that really makes it hard. And they've done a great job in learning this. I'm so proud of all of these guys for completing the golden ticket so that I can have them over there next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So here's our last piece, Chester. And now, could I have my advanced orchestra get their instruments? So now we move over here to the advanced orchestra. Just to get an idea, by the way, beginning orchestra has one 45-minute, 30 to 45-minute lesson a week. Intermediate has one 30 to 40-minute lesson a week, and then advanced has 2 lessons a week. By the way, when you go to Oak Avenue and play in the orchestra, you get to play every day. So it's really going to be fun for all of you to watch the progression over the years from Twinkle Little Star to whatever it ends up being when they play. And I hope they stick with it. Before we start playing, I want to honor all of our 6th graders in the advanced orchestra who I hope will be moving up to the Oak Orchestra soon. And here's all of our 6th graders. Stand up, advanced orchestra, if you're in 6th grade. Okay, we're going to hope one of these works. Because I have an answer. Not that one.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Olivia Shan, and I play the violin. Thank you for coming to our spring concert. Our first piece this evening is composed in a contemporary style with bold musical statements that show off each section. Here now is Star Dancer, written by Mark Williams. and I play the cello. The next piece the Advanced Orchestra will play for you is Spring from the Four Seasons by the great Italian composer Antonio Vivaldi. In this piece, Vivaldi depicts the sounds of a beautiful spring day in the countryside. Listen closely and you will hear birds chirping, a babbling brook, and even sounds of a thunderstorm as it passes overhead. Here now is Spring, arranged by Richard Meyer.
Can I have our soloists stand up, the 3 and the 3, the 4, can you stand up? All the soloists? They did such a great job. Give them a hand.
Good evening. My name is Constance and I play the viola. The next piece of Advanced Orchestra will play for you is a familiar Korean folk song, Arirang. This beautiful arrangement gives this melody life and is heard through all the sections. Now, here is Korean folk tune arranged by Richard Meyer.
Good evening. My name is Audrey and I play the cello. For our last piece, the Advanced Orchestra will perform the theme from Avengers. This iconic theme was written by film composer Alan Silvestri. On behalf of all the musicians of the elementary, beginning, intermediate, and advanced orchestras, thank you for coming to our spring concert. And now, here is Avengers.
So much. Orchestra, you may be seated. That was so much fun to hear the progression, and I can't wait for you to come back year after year. If this is your first concert with us, to come back year after year and hear them progress through. It's so much fun. We need to honor them all again, but before that, I'm going to give some instructions. So when we're all done, the beginners, you guys, your cases are still over in the music room. So they're going to file out and they're going to go over to the music room. Beginning parents, you're going to find your student outside the music room. Try not to go in there, it'll get too crowded. Just wait right outside the music room. You'll find your parents right outside their beginners. Intermediate orchestra are going to pack up right where they're sitting, not yet. And you'll find them there in advance, will be here. However, 5th and 6th grade parents know what I'm going to say right now, because 4th grade parents get to get inducted into this. This is not Carnegie Hall. I know it looks like it, but it's actually a gym. And they have class here tomorrow. So all these chairs have to go on those chair racks back there, and all the music stands have to go on those music stand racks. Students in intermediate and advanced, you know how to fold them down and stuff, so you can help us get them on there. My high school and Oak Avenue kids will help getting all the music stands back, if you'll help with that, okay? And then when we do leave, I want you to promise that you'll do two things. be really patient getting out of the parking lots and off the streets. And 2, take these guys some ice cream. They deserve it. They all did really good, right? Beginning orchestra, stand up at rest position and face the audience. Let's hear it for the beginning orchestra. Let's hear it for the intermediate orchestra. Stand up. Let's hear it for the advanced orchestra. Students, let's hear it for our parents who helped us so much. Give them a yell. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We continue our lessons for the end of the year, getting ready for next year. So thank you very much for coming to our spring concert. Beginners head back towards the door, follow back into the music room. There they go. Give them a hand on the way out. Great job, guys. Parents, please help with all these children.